Hello, today I'm going to be taking a look at my current favorite blaster in my collection, my modified 1995 Crossbow. This thing has homemade internals that I made myself with no real guide. I just kind of looked at every crossbow mod out there just to give myself a general idea of what I need to do, and then I just kind of winged it, and it came out really, really well. Could not be happier with it. Internals. I'll get an internal shot at the end of the video, but I'm using a standard caliber plunger tube, which has been sized down to this half-inch coupler so that I can use the speed loader that I made for it. I'm running a K25 skirt seal plunger head, basically the same thing as my rainbow pistol, same priming rod material as well, and then I have a custom carved polycarbonate priming handle, which I think looks really good. I'm super happy with how that came out. I made it, and I was going to paint it to do sleeper style. I bought paint that matches the old priming bar, and then I'm like, nope, I'm just going to show off my work, and so super happy with it. Okay seal. I'm not going for super high performance. Right now it hits about 230 with this barrel. After tuning, I used it at SC&C last week, which is why I'm filming the video later than I actually finished it, so I could use it. And it was only hitting about 215. Admins were chill with that. I've been going long enough that they trust me not to shoot anybody up close with something over the FPS cap. Now it's hitting a little too hard, so I may have to tune it down. Not entirely sure how I'm going to go about that, but I'll figure it out. I also filled in almost the entire outline of the shell with epoxy putty, and now this thing weighs about 2 pounds. I did that first of all to fix several screw ports that had cracked or had completely snapped off. So now every screw port except for the one I cut off is usable, even though they were completely snapped off. So that's fixed, but I also really like the weight. It handles very, very well. This sticker on this side is in very good condition, so I haven't touched it. The other side was not so great, so I put a Southeast Slug sticker from Submarino. I'll link his Etsy page with the stickers down below. And I put that on there, kind of pays homage to the era in which this blaster would have been used. The barrel is 10 inches of CPVC with worker scars. That's a tip the chicken gave me, suggestion from him. He made a speed loader with scar barrels. It worked very well, so I decided to try it, and I love it. Yes, CPVC is not the greatest barrel material, but once again, I'm not going for super high FPS. I'm only running K25. A real quick firing demo. And normally it's 2 shots, that's pretty standard. So yeah, that is the crossbow. Now let's get a couple of FPS numbers. So for these Chrono numbers, I'm going to use this barrel, but it is the same thing as with the speed loader. If we put it around, as you can see, it is the same length. It's just a lot easier to line up with a small chronograph like that with a singular barrel. Alright. That one was an error. My chronograph is not very good. So that rang up as 476, but that is not at all accurate. There we go. That one is 231. Let me try to get a couple more readings, then I'll take it outside. Another error. I really need a better chronograph. There we are. 229. And there we are. 233. Let's throw a couple shots downrange. That tree is at about 90 feet. And I just skimmed the edge of it. So I just went and picked up all those darts. As you saw, several of them actually hit the tree, and the ones that missed only missed by like a few inches to the side of the tree, and the ones that did go past the tree went out all the way to like 130, 140 feet out there, so that's pretty good in my opinion. Now let's take a look at the inner workings of this thing. So, here we are. Here's what I've done. Here's the plunger tube. Again, this is a standard caliburn plunger tube. This is a 1/2-inch bushing that I actually cut the front off of, so it fits flush with that. This block of polycarbonate here, which, as you can see, screws go here, here, and here. These are those. I cut a big old hole so it fits around this. As you can see, there's epoxy putty just all throughout the shell. This is one of the screw ports that snapped off completely, that I just built a ramp up and fixed it. There's also the epoxy on the other side as well. See right here, there's a polycarbonate reinforcement for the spring rest, though I am getting a little bit of stress marks on the base right in here. Where I don't have polycarbonate, right there on the outside of the shell. So I may need to fill this in with epoxy putty too, or it's possible that on just this side of the shell I may just put another polycarbonate plate like that and screw it into it. I'm not sure yet, but I'll get there when I get there. Catch, again, is stock. I had to grind down material on the bottom of it and the back so that there was more catch area. I had an epoxy ramp on this, but I guess it just kind of came off, because as you can see, it doesn't really move a whole lot. Now, of course, it would be further down when it catches. So because of that, I may need to make a polycarbonate trigger with a steeper ramp. But for now, this works. I just have to kind of snap the trigger a little bit. There's a nice look at that priming bar here. It's not the smoothest. It's definitely low grit sandpaper, but it makes it pretty soft, and I still think it looks quite nice. I made sure that it does not come in contact with this screw post here, as this is a common problem that would happen where you would make a custom one and the piece would stick out and it would slam into this screw post and break it. So make sure that's not an issue. There's plunger tube. It's kind of hard to see in there, but catch notch is here. 14 coils of K25, a little ring of PVC to allow the other screw here to have more to dig into. And yeah, that is pretty much everything on the inside. So yeah, that is my crossbow. Really old school style mod, done up like over 10 years past its time. Super happy with it. Like I said, I've always wanted one of these since I got into the hobby over 6 years ago. I always thought the shell just looked really cool. I like the color a lot, actually. You don't really see this color on anything really, not just blasters. It's just a not very common color. It's an interesting purple. I don't know how well the camera picks it up. Cameras do that to color, but it's a very nice color. It's also very comfortable, like I thought it would be. The only issue is this little wedge right here on the grip kind of digs into the webbing of your thumb, but I don't always prime it like this. Sometimes I will prime it. I'll grab up here, pull back here, and then use the same hand to put the speed loader. But so that's not always a problem. But yeah, that's really the only gripe I have with the thing. I absolutely love it. It's still I'm still super proud because, again, I made it myself and it's one of my hardest hitting blasters. It's so nice to use. It just shoots way more consistent than my previous favorite blasters, my Talon Claw, my Long Shot, my Liberator shotgun, my Rainbow pistol. It just is better. It's not the most practical thing because it's a single shot blaster, obviously, but that's not why I built it. I built it because old school stuff has always really fascinated me. I love it. I love actually building something rather than buying a kit. Don't get me wrong, kits are fun. I've posted videos on kits I've bought before, but I really like making stuff, and while this was a ton of work and very stressful to mess with, you know, a $150 shell, it's still the most fun I've ever had putting a blaster together, and it's also my favorite blaster to use. I couldn't be happier with it. Super happy to have this in my collection. That's pretty much it for the video. Thank you guys for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you found it interesting. Yeah. I also melted the shell a little bit right here, but we don't have to talk about that.